Hey, how old are you?
Over 18, in my 20s.
Are you really in your 20s?
Yeah, I'm in my 20s, yeah.
Okay, you sound kind of young.
Yeah, people say that I'm not that young.
Okay.
um, so I guess my opinion is that it depends on the culture of the man that the woman is seeing. So I think women should know about the culture because it really, really just depends on that. And yeah, that's basically my opinion. So, like, I've had a chance to date people from different backgrounds, and their views on sexuality differs markedly between the different cultures. So I think that's really important.
What's your ethnicity and your nationality?
I'm from Eastern Africa.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm from East Africa, so I've had a chance to date people from I think every major culture, I'd say. And I think each major culture has a different view. Obviously, if you're in the US, people will be raised in American culture, but I do think they learn something from their families. So that does sort of affect how they view sexuality in a relationship. And so I think it just depends. And I think women can do whatever they want to do. So I don't think there should be any shame. But in relation to if you're trying to if you're trying to like have a relationship or if that's what you're seeking,
Mm-hmm.
then it is important to recognize like at what stage if you do have intimacy, at what stage you have intimacy will affect the quality of relationship depending on the culture mindset of the guy that you're seeing. So I think a lot of women don't know that, and so like they sort of are shocked when something happens. But as long as people are aware of that, it's not a. I think people can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, people. Yeah, people can do whatever. Um, people can always do whatever they want to do at the end of the day. But just because people do whatever they want to do doesn't mean that there's not going to be consequences for their like actions, right?
Yes, no, yeah, there's consequences. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're trying to get a relationship, like if you want a relationship, if that's your goal, like a serious relationship, then intimacy really early on, depending on the cultural mindset of the guy, could keep that from occurring. But these are things that people pretty much realize by the time they're in their 20s. So I don't think I'm saying anything new, but I think sometimes you'll have like relationship coaches or stuff online saying the opposite, and then it just doesn't work that way. Like they'll be like, "Oh, it doesn't matter when you have intimacy, do whatever you want. It won't affect the relationship," but that's just not true. Like, so I think it's just being honest about it is important. Um,
Okay,
for
but
women.
with the double standard like here in America, for men and women, when it comes to like having partners and sleeping around and stuff, would you? I mean, you said you're in your 20s.
Hmm.
Would you encourage like do you think young women should have hoe phases as they call them here in America? Do you think they should have those?
Personally, no, because I don't think I don't think that's what a lot of women want. But I think there are some women that actually do want to go through that phase because they just enjoy different sexual experiences and they just want to do that with many different guys. But I think that's a small percentage of women, and I don't think anything wrong about them. Just like there's probably a
Yeah.
small percentage of men that want something that I think is unusual. But I think most women are interested in something more serious and a guy that cares about more than the sexual experience with her. And in that case, the whole phase doesn't facilitate that. So I think that, and having intimacy really quickly, sometimes it works for people if there's a lot of other things going on and the people both like each other a lot, but generally it doesn't work out for the woman if she's seeking a relationship if she has intimacy too quickly.
Hmm. Okay. Do you So even though you don't believe in like you wouldn't encourage a woman to do the whole face thing, but for the women that do that, do you think there's a time you know that you believe that women should get out of that whole phase, like whether it's an age, like a specific age, or I thought you wasn't going live. Yeah, Amira, I'm not Amira. I'm just doing some. I'm trying to see some. No, Bella. Do you think there's like a specific age that like women should like stop doing that? And the reason that I kind of asked that, Bella, is because I mean, I can ask this question, but the reality is that, for both men and women, sometimes they be like perpetually dating and just, out here, living their best life, as they like to call it. And there's a lot of older women that tell younger women, date in your 20s, do this, that, and the third. And then, when they wake up one morning, either in their late 20s and early 30s, and they have that epiphany moment, and they don't want to be living that type of lifestyle anymore, they want to settle down. Now it's kind of harder for them to settle down. So what I'm asking is, do you think that if a woman does want a whole phase, that she should like get out of it, that she should stop moving like that at some point?
Yeah, I think it shouldn't go beyond maybe like 22 or something.
Yeah, like 20, like when you're done with school.
Yeah, when you're done with school. I think maybe a year after you graduate, if you want to spend the year, if you're not going to grad school, a year in the city that you're in and go out and have fun and whatever, like and
Right.
party, sure, spend that year. But I think I think a lot of people underestimate like what will happen during that year or the years that they do it. So that's why I don't recommend it, just because I do know a lot of women um and and I feel like they're sort of wasting their time. They don't realize they're wasting their time,
Right.
because it's just that like there's no plus to it. I guess I have a pretty traditional perspective, which
Mm-hmm.
maybe comes from my family coming from Eastern Africa, of like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not if the guy's not like supportive of you emotionally or financially, or is not part of your life seriously, then what are you doing? It's like, what exactly are you trying to do? Because you have certain goals that you want out of your life. And if you're just wasting time out dancing, partying with random guys that don't care about you, then you are foreclosing option of finding a guy that does care about you. And that's important. You want to build a family, you want to do that at some point in your life. So don't waste your years when you can find a really good match with these guys who don't care about you, who disrespect you and stuff like that. So I think that comes from a more of a traditional perspective. So I don't like force that upon people, and I don't judge women, but I just feel
Yeah.
like I'm just looking and I'm like, whoa, that guy doesn't even care about you.
Right.
This is the prime of your life to go find a guy that will be there for you and you can build, a beautiful relationship. So just don't waste the time. So I think people realize that though at some point, but by then it might be too late because
Exactly.
people
That's what I'm
have
saying.
kids when they're not married, and that sort of makes it harder for them,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
sorry,
So,
to have like
go ahead.
another relationship and stuff. So
Do you
yeah.
do you think, like, modern day American society needs to encourage um sexual liberation amongst women more?
No, I think the opposite. And that's why I don't. Uh, since you're a person of color, African descent, it appears from the photo. I don't want to judge different cultures, but I do think that like the white American sexual liberation culture is not for other groups. And I think that's sort of like on TV and the movies and stuff like that. And I just don't think that's a good way of living life or whatever. So I don't think that should be encouraged. I think it's a
Okay.
bad direction. So I think people need to rein it in because, like, a lot of women are finding themselves in difficult situations. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
I think there should be a bit more sexual discipline, to be honest. I don't understand how things have gotten this way, especially when people are coming from traditional backgrounds, which is most backgrounds except white American culture is pretty traditional. Latino, African American, Asian, right? Traditionally, just like traditionally a bit more conservative. So this
Mm-hmm.
whole like running around doing whatever with whomever, it's just very, it's undisciplined. So I think people should rein it in, become a little bit more thoughtful about their sexual liaisons. I mean, I don't judge, but I just always feel a little bit like,
My cousin in here.
people
Nappy,
wasting
Nappy,
their time.
I'm not going live anymore. I'm not going live anymore, Nappy. I'm gonna send you the video. It's a very early weekday live. This is rare. But I'm about to get off of here right after I talk to her. I'm not going live anymore, Nappy. Um, okay. Do you think, Bella? Do you think there's a Do you think there's an age that women should like stop dating without purpose?
I think as soon I think after maybe they have a year after college, and if they don't go to college, then like 21, 22, and I think after like 22, you have enough time. I mean, I don't think you should be, having sexual partners in such early ages like before that. But if you're gonna just be dating randomly, just having crushes, going out, having fun, whatever. Do that. Go out and have fun at prom or whatever, and then in college. But after
You
that, what are
know,
you doing?
because and I don't care about these people, but there's a lot of people talking about this whole Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey stuff right
Yeah,
now,
yeah. Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like oh my gosh, like she did him wrong because she ain't want to settle down. I'm like, no, she's 25. Like, you gotta understand, like that man is 10 years older than her. Like, he already done did his rounds as far as when it comes to women, and he probably does want to settle down now and like start his own family and have kids and stuff. But it's like, bro, you're dating a woman that's 10 years younger than you, and you're not dating like no like average girl, if you will. She has a name, even if it is just because of her dad. Like, she's been with other high profile men. She's able to get with other high profile men. So while you might be in your feelings and really like her, it's not the same for her, because she can go get with another 35-year-old actor. She can go get with another rapper. She can go get with another ball player. So it's like, I don't see. I'm trying to figure out where all this confusion is coming from. Like, people's like, man, she was wasting his time. Like, no, she didn't want to get married to that. She's 25. She's 25 and don't want to get married. She doesn't have to. Like, what's the what's the
Well,
problem?
I guess I don't think it's because she wanted to just date around. I think she just doesn't think that he's the one for her. I don't
No,
think it's
she's
necessarily
definitely
about
dating around,
timing.
and that's kind of why I'm gonna have another live in the future with these questions. But that's kind of why these questions are the way they are, because and a lot of women do what she's doing. Like, you're in your early 20s, and you're looking really good, and you're having your way with, you're getting a lot of attention from a lot of men, and you think that it's always going to be like that, but it's not always going to be like that. That's why I said a lot of women, they end up waking up one morning having an epiphany moment, and they're like, damn, I don't want to live like this anymore, because all these men I've been dealing with, they haven't given me any commitment. They really don't like me. They don't have any good intentions for me. So now I only want to like, associate with men that I feel have those feelings for me. And it's like, now a lot of men see you as like damaged goods now. It sounds bad, but a lot of men don't really, see you as valuable as you may have thought you once were, like in your early 20s or your mid 20s now. So with Lori, money, looks, and resources probably gonna always be like, no, it's gonna be like that much longer for her, Amira, definitely. But that's what I'm trying to say. The average girl is not going. It's not going to be like that. That's why I'm like, when, as the average girl, when should she stop dating with purpose? Like, without purpose, I mean, what, like, like you said, she could take like a year out of school and do her thing or whatever. But I think for like most girls, you shouldn't be out here moving like that, because it's not going to be. If you really do want to have a family and all that one day, you're not helping your case.
Yeah, I think, I definitely think, I think for most women, the advice is really to try to find your spouse in college, and then in grad school, if you go to grad school, and really lock that down as quickly as possible. So I think she's a special case, obviously, as a celeb. So she has a high profile, and she'll meet lots of matches. So she's not gonna have any problems finding a good match. But I guess for like a girl who's not a celeb, the best advice is to find someone during college and grad school, and that's the advice. Or if you don't go to college or grad school in that timeline, and that's the advice given by every wise mother to their daughters. So I think, that's the best advice. That's basically the advice every traditional person's getting, and even white American culture, they tell them that too, depending on the family. So I think that's the best thing. And the people being told something different, it's not the right advice, because there's just
That,
limited
but
number
a
of
lot
men
of
who want to get
look,
married and stuff. So you have to
look, you're
find them.
East, you're East African. I'm West African, but in America here, a lot of women do get told like, enjoy your 20s, like, date all these men, do all these different things with all these different men. That's what I'm saying. Like, if the woman, a lot of women that take that advice, then when they get in their 30s and they don't want to live like that anymore, and they're having a hard time finding a man, now they're mad at men. They're mad at the world. And now there's no good men. It's like, no, there was good men. You just didn't want to, like, you didn't want to settle down. You wanted to be outside in the streets and be for everybody. So now, when your options are limited because men don't want to be with you because they know you've been passed around the streets, now it's tougher for you. So I'm just saying, you know I don't think I and men there's men that end up in the same position, but it's different for men because of the double standard in our society. Men aren't you know men aren't Hey, Sergi, how you doing? It's different in our society. It's different for men because men being with a whole bunch of women isn't seen in the same light as women being with a whole bunch of men.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what the, maybe I just don't know what the motivation of the women who are doing all of that is, because you can only go to so many parties and have that much fun. There's a limit to it, but maybe some people just get, they enjoy it even when they're doing it for years. But like I've been to rooftop parties and done all of that, and it gets pretty old pretty quickly. Like within a couple months, I was sort of sick of it. So it's weird to me that people spend years doing that. Like I don't get it, I guess. But no, that's me.
hey, Bella, I appreciate talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking to you. Thank you.
Where are you are you in the States, or where are you located?
Oh, I'm in New York City.
You're where?
In New York.
Oh, New York. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Bet that's what's up. Well, you have a good night, Bella. It was nice talking to you.
You too. Have a good night. Bye.
All right, you too. Bye. Sergi.